Creative. Creative mode gives the player absolute control and makes the impossible seem possible. Everything in the game is available at a click of a button, everything except the suspicious stew. But why? Why is it the only survival item not available in the creative inventory, and why is it even in the game? Suspicious stew is an item largely ignored by the community. On the surface, it serves no real purpose. Like the spider eye, if you eat it, a status effect will be applied to you, and half the time, that effect isn't even beneficial. The name isn't very inviting either. Amogus. One thing that does set it apart is the crafting. The crafting recipe is known as a shapeless recipe, as the stew can be crafted by placing its ingredients in any order in the crafting grid. So, then what does it take to craft it? Remarkably, there are 8 different crafting recipes for the suspicious stew. Whichever recipe that is used determines which effect is applied to you when you eat it. Use an allium, you get fire resistance. Use an azure bluet, you get blindness. Use a cornflower, you get jump boost. Use a lily of the valley, you get poison. Use an oxydaisy, you get regen. Use a poppy, you get night vision. Use any tulip, you get weakness. Use a wither rose, you get the wither effect. And finally, use a blue orchid or a dandelion and you get saturation. This makes things a bit clearer. There are 8 different types of suspicious stew. So why not put all 8 types into the creative inventory? Because this would undermine the point of the item. The special thing about the suspicious stew is that you're not able to tell which kind of stew it is. So even if there were 8 different suspicious stew in the creative inventory, it would still be a guessing game which is which, and that would be frustrating design. This is why I imagine Mojang chose to just not include it and instead let the player craft it themselves. This leads to another question. If the item leads to frustrating design, and the player base doesn't find much use for the item, why is it even in the game? Well, according to the Minecraft developers themselves, they added suspicious stew as a way to tell the player that the lily of the valley flower is poisonous.
5.
Suspicious stew is one of Minecraft's finest delicacies. Oh, but as Steve was nice enough to show us there, it can be very poisonous. In fact, the only reason we added suspicious stew is because we needed a way to warn you this flower, the lily of the valley, is poisonous before you started feeding them to parrots and getting mad at us again.
4.
Listen closely to the clip and you'll hear them say the only reason. The truth is, the item holds another secret. One that's never explained by the game or the developers, and only known to a very small part of the Minecraft community. And the secret is that the suspicious stew is the strongest food item in the game, even ahead of the golden carrot. When crafting the suspicious stew with a blue orchid or a dandelion, you get the saturation effect for 0.35 seconds. This effect effectively makes this stew a superfood which restores 7 hunger and 14 saturation points on top of their food value for a total of 13 hunger, and effectively maximizing your saturation. This is the largest amount of hunger a single food item can give a player. If you didn't know, saturation is what determines how fast your hunger bar decreases. So if you have a high saturation level, you can regenerate more hearts or sprint for longer. So how do you take advantage of this? Well, you can use the suspicious stew like your average food item, but holding them all and crafting them is a big hassle since they're not stackable. Instead, I recommend keeping them in reserve and only using them in connection with something like a PvP battle, where they can gain you an advantage over your opponent. For example, Technoblade used the suspicious stew for this exact purpose on the Dream SMP.
I say armorless and with shields, yeah?
Wait,
Yeah,
what's the
look
point
at him,
of
he's ready.
armorless with shields?
Because then you got like some proper, like it's a long fight.
But you could just
know?
hold the shield out and be immortal. Wait,
You're allowed
with
allowed
weapons?
food though. No. Fists. Come on. Think about what you
Alright,
did.
fist fight. Fist fight it
Look,
is.
so-
I'll
Tubbo,
take it off.
Literally fly.
It wasn't raining! It wasn't raining!
Yes! Yes! Get it out, Tommy! Think of what he did! Think of what he did to Tubbo! Think of what he did! There we go.
It stays in the pit.
That's perfect, that is.
As seen in the video, the extra saturation points from the suspicious stew gave Techno much more health. He took around 16 hits and still had 8 hearts after the fight, while Tommy took around 21 hits and lost. So there you have it. On the surface, the suspicious stew serves no real purpose, but now we know how significant and special the item really is and how we can use it when playing the game. I hope this video shed some light on an otherwise forgotten item. If you've learned anything, please share the video with a friend, since it would help out a lot, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.